Did I tell you what we call the audience here?
I'm trying to remember.
You
You
won't.
said
You
it.
won't remember because it's new.
Oh, really?
Ish. Gals.
Gals?
Yes.
Like
We're,
GALS.
yes. Everyone listening is gals. We are gals.
Is it an acronym?
Nope. I watched a lot of Ludwig, and he starts everything. He's like boys, and like the
Okay.
something and Eddie podcast would call you one of the guys. One of the
Mm,
guys. We're all guys. Girls are guys. We're guys.
right. We're gals.
I figured just to be cheeky, everyone's asked to be referred to as guys.
Sounds good to me.
And I've talked to like 3 people at customer service who are women. I'm like, yeah, anyone I need to call back when I call back you guys. I was like, you know, what I mean? Gals. If Brad's voice sounds different, it's because it's not Brad. Today, this podcast is being graced by Ryan.
That's Ryan.
Yes, Ryan.
In a less British operatic voice.
Yeah, but only he's allowed to say that contractually. Everyone else is saying Ryan. Would you like to introduce yourself, sir?
Sure. I am Ryan. I'm friends with Brian, and we have similar but not congruent names. Although I do get confused for you a lot because I go, "Hi, I'm Ryan." They're like, "Brian?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure." Yep, that's me.
Same way for me in reverse. All right, here's the real introduction. This gentleman is one of the co-hosts and the creator of Sort of Star Wars, a Star Wars podcast, and a minute by minute podcast of Fast and Furious called Granny Shifting.
Mm-hmm.
And you have some others, right?
I have one other one that I do, which is Dad Reads Books. And it's just me reading children's books so my kids can listen to them. So I don't have to read to them when it's actually time to read to them.
It's such a liar.
It's both like very creative and lazy at the same time, which is kind of like my thing that I go for.
Did you have one with Melody on the
No, my sister has one on the Riot Media Network.
Gotcha.
And yeah, hers is Silver Screen and Television Dreams, and it's about anything and everything Hollywood. Lots of movie discussion.
Gotcha. Okay. So basically, if you've listened to any of my other minute podcasts, you know, Bond, X-Men, MCU, and Wish for One for Fast and Furious, highly recommend his. I'm his first patron.
Yeah, he is. And we're into Tokyo Drift, almost halfway through Tokyo Drift, which is, it's been, apparently people don't care about Tokyo Drift. Just say it that way.
Dude, all right, so I don't know if Brad or I told you, but this podcast primarily now is doing underrated movies.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Tokyo Drift is on my list of that because it is, and it was the first one I ever saw. I loved it. Anyway, we'll get to what we're reviewing, the clickbait title. Sorry, we're going very unusual, but you should really check them out. And Sort of Star Wars is more of a variety thing, right? Star Wars at center, but you'll do like an episode of the whole psych show.
Right. Yeah. It's kind of like, that's why it's called a sort of Star Wars podcast, because it's about 50% of the time is focused solely on Star Wars. Now, a lot of Star Wars discussion comes into our other topics, but we talk about food or other TV shows or Marvel or all kinds of caffeine addiction, stuff like that. So we get into all of it.
And most importantly, which will ruin it for me, he is the gentleman who's designed all the new podcast logos.
Yeah.
So the one you're watching or looking at right now, that was designed by him. And I say ruin it because you all should use him, and then he'll get popular, and then I won't be able to afford his things. And
you got a locked in price, though. You got a locked in price.
Just
You're grandfathered in.
Just for okay. Anyway, did you come up with any ideas for if you like this? My
Yeah.
number one idea was if you've ever been murdered, you'll love this TV show.
Yes, that's a good one. I went with if you loved Knives Out, you'll probably
Ooh.
laugh at the after party.
If you love Knives Out, I'm gonna keep After Party out of the title, but
Oh,
just for this non-spoiler part. But if you love
oh,
Knives Out,
oh, so I'm not supposed
you'll
to say the
laugh at
whole
the.
thing.
Well, no, it's fine. People are
Oh,
the
shit.
clickbait
I
for the
messed it up already.
non-spoiler is just to get them in, and but this is also the new format. I've
Right.
recorded other episodes, but this is the first one going live.
Sounds
So
good.
forgot to tell people listening. Sorry, gals.
This whole episode is the spoiler free.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
we'll talk for 2 minutes. Don't fact check that. It's never been 2 minutes. Non-spoiler about the show. God, that was so good. Fuck my if you've ever been murdered. That was too good. I was gonna say like if you liked 22 Jump Street because I think that's the closest in a movie, literally by one of the creators of this.
Oh, okay.
The closest in tone that I can think of. But no, that was fucking good. If you like Knives Out, you'll laugh at this.
Yeah.
That's why you stomp me in all the stats. All right. So if anyone's unfamiliar, The After Party is an amazing show on Apple TV Plus. Which, by the way, I saw an article yesterday that was like talking about being a guide to shows and movies to watch on Apple TV Plus, and I was scrolling so fucking long before I saw the morning show, and I left the article before I got to movies because Apple TV.
Have you watched the morning show? Okay.
I watched like 3 episodes and it never grabbed me.
Well, I'm like looking at all these shows and episodes, or all these shows and movies on Apple TV Plus are like top tiers, like actors and stuff on these shows that I've never heard of. And I'm like, doesn't this person do like blockbuster movies? And here they're doing some random The Shrink I Live Next to or whatever that show's called. I'm like, this is like it's got Will Ferrell and Paul Rudd. I'm like, how is this not more popular? I'm like, oh right, only 1 out of every 68 people has Apple TV Plus. Like,
yeah, I remember the big push in the beginning was morning show and C with David Guetta.
Batista.
Just kidding.
Batista,
Batista's in season 2, but Jason Momoa is the first one. First episode didn't grab me either. Actually, Ted Lasso interested me in the pilot, but I didn't watch it when I had the free year for buying an iPhone. And then I watched it when I got a free year for having T-Mobile. So
right. I forgot they did that.
But it's $4.99. And like I was gonna keep it just for Ted Lasso. Yeah. Honestly. Like the fact that Matthew Vaughn, I got a Kingsman tattoo, I'm sure. Matthew Vaughn, the Kingsman guy, is doing Argyle with Henry Cavill. That's coming to Apple
that's
TV
what that
Plus.
is. Okay. I saw you post about that.
Yeah, I'm excited. That's just gravy. And I didn't even know about After Party. Ryan's the one who turned me on to that. And Lord and Miller, 2 creators. I'll follow till unless they get.
What's some other stuff that they made? Because you said them like I was supposed to know who they are, and I'm like, I don't know.
All right, really quickly, I'll say the other show people should check out is Schmigadoon. That's excellent. The poster on Apple TV Plus. The first time I saw it, I said, "How considerate of you to tell me that this is a piece of shit," because it looks bad based on the poster. But it is.
Which poster you're talking about? The 2 of them standing there, or because like the one that comes up for me? Okay. I watched the first episode, but I didn't get hooked on it. I don't know.
You should just watch it all. It's 8 episodes and they're like 20 minutes.
Oh, okay.
You'll get it through it quick, but it made me cry.
Yeah.
That was like the show I was gonna recommend is like when you're done with Ted Lasso. Now it's third. This is second.
Oh, okay.
But it's delightful. And I mean, to be fair, Key has been in Predators the Predator and like all these.
Yeah, he was in that show, Friends from College college friends,
Never saw
something.
that, but I mean, the Shane Black Predator and Fighting with Fire, the John Cena kids movie.
Okay.
You, you get that paycheck, but
Yeah,
so when I
exactly.
saw Schmigadoon, I was like, oh.
You enjoyed it.
It was so good.
Yeah.
But yeah, to answer your question from memory, Lord and Miller started with College Chance of Meatballs. Actually, they did Clone High, I guess. I never saw that. But
Which one? Sorry.
Clone High back in the day, but I
Oh,
never
yeah.
saw it. Their first movie was Cloudy with Chance of Meatballs. Then they also did 21 Jump Street, 22 Jump Street. They almost did MIB 23, which would have been a Men in Black and Jump Street crossover that they wrote. And then they also did Lego Movie 2. No, they produced all the other Lego movies. They produced the Mitchells vs. the Machines. They produced Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
Oh, okay, okay, okay. So they did a lot of stuff.
Yeah, they got fired off directing Solo, which I'm not going to say how mediocre it is compared to what their version would have been because Ryan will kill me. That's
I
not
don't
an
know.
understatement. After
I mean,
Brad will regularly tell me that he enjoys stirring the pot and just be like, "Hey, so what,
yeah.
Brian? Which Star Wars movies are mediocre?"
Which one is your least favorite? Ron Howard did Solo. So, I mean, you're kind of like
he
replacing one pro with another. Just a taste, just a preference of taste, I think.
Yeah, to be fair though, Ron Howard is he very much came in as a director for hire. I don't envy him.
Oh, yeah.
I
I mean,
don't
he picked
envy
up
his
broken
position.
shambles of a movie and tried to make into something
Well,
worth watching.
he also reshot over 70% of it. But I mean, no
It also
offense.
came off of like the heels of one of the most disliked Star Wars movie when they came out, which was Last Jedi.
Hmm.
And 5 months in between the two movies. That's not enough time to digest any Star Wars movie. You know how deep they are and how emotionally depleting they are. You know what I'm saying.
I really don't. So
I was
the
just kidding.
after party.
Wait, are we at 2 minutes already? This is crazy.
We're at 3 seconds. Sir, what drew you to the after party and then what kept you? Because you said like I wasn't grabbed enough, I guess, to watch Ted Lasso, which is a shame on me. The first time go around, and you said you weren't grabbed by Schmigadoon. So what about
Right.
this one got you?
Well, it was the same thing after I was going with the Ted Lasso, void to fill when I was finished with that one. And
You didn't
I
just
think
watch it 10 times both seasons
no,
through
no, I
in
was
a
looking for
series
something
in
else.
literally like 3 weeks, like I did.
No, no. I think that's specific to you, Brian. I think so.
I think it's
Um, I
common.
think it was literally just like the trailer came on after I was done with Ted Lasso. It's
I
just like,
skip all of those.
right? It was just like, no, it was like when it was done and like, the series is over and like you just wait and you're like sit on the couch and you're like flipping on your phone, whatever, because you're done. And then they like start playing a preview of whatever is there. And that started playing. And I was like, oh, this has, Jean Ralphio in it from Parks and Rec. It's got to be a funny show, but they're making it look like such like, I mean, it's like a killer, like a
Yeah.
murder mystery, but it has such funny people in it. And so I'm like, I'll try an episode. And this was at like 11 o'clock at night. And so I watched one episode and I was like, that was really good. And then I watched two more and I was like, oh, that was really good. And so, but that was all that were out at the time. Cause then I told you guys about it or you about it. And then you watched it pretty soon after that. And like a couple weeks later, you're like, have you been watching? I'm like, oh, I didn't realize that it was like, kept coming out, but I don't know. I mean, Ben Schwartz is hilarious. I think he's hilarious. And so I'll watch
I
pretty much anything with him in it.
I think cumulatively, I've spent more time watching John Ralphio clips together, a video
Right.
on YouTube of all his clips, than I have spent watching Parks and Rec.
One of my very favorite Ben Schwartz videos I've seen on YouTube is him and the kid from Stranger Things. I don't even know his name. Like the older kid from Stranger
Mhm.
Things.
I know who you're
Um,
talking about. I can imagine him. He was in It Chapter 1.
I think so. I didn't see it, but I think so.
Bring the
And
kids.
so it's the two of them, and there's like stories going around that they're like related or they're clones of each other, and they look very similar to each other. And they're like during this interview, they both dress exactly the same, and like they start like doing the same thing as each other and like start doing the same motions. Like, okay, on the count of three, we're gonna do something. They like count to three, and they both do the exact same motion at the same time, and it's pretty hilarious because they both have like the wild hair and like the same sense of style and stuff like that. So
Much
yeah.
like the twins in 22 Jump Street.
Sure.
You haven't seen 22 Jump Street?
I saw the first one. Wait, which one did they start off on bikes? Is that the first one?
Yeah.
They like bike down a guy in the park.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the only one I've seen.
You should see 22.
That's the one with Johnny Depp, right?
Yeah. 22 has Wyatt Russell.
Who's Wyatt Russell?
Kurt Russell's son.
Oh, okay, yeah. He was. What else have I seen him in? Oh, I almost had it. Oh. That terrible Marvel.
Kurt Russell's balls.
That. If you look close, you can see his beard.
And I swear to God, if you're forgetting if it's Wyatt or Kurt in Volume 2 and you say horrible Guardians of the Galaxy movie,
No,
I'll Star Wars you.
No, I love Guardians of the Galaxy. Those two movies are like my favorite of the whole MCU. I'm talking about the second to lowest series that Marvel's come out with, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, where he plays wrong Captain America.
Yeah. That's the one Marvel show that made me cry.
Like because it was so bad.
No, I thought it was I thought it cut corners. Like there was like 5% of stuff where you're like, all right, you gotta ignore that. Like how spoilers, but how is Bucky just walk onto that fucking air base and just saunter onto their plane while Falcon's going for a mission? But
I like how Bucky has to tear his jacket when he jumps out of the plane, like so you can see his metal arm.
And also, to be fair to that show, the original plot wasn't a food shortage. It was that there was a pandemic happening and that vaccinations were being hoarded.
Oh, that felt too.
So, yeah, they had to pivot partway through. So, I
didn't.
It's false, but.
Yeah. Going into it, honestly, it was like I watched it because it's Marvel and I enjoy Marvel. But I wasn't a Falcon fan. I was a Bucky fan. And only because I felt like he was like kind of forgotten.
Ryan's from the deep south, so we're just being
very deep. Have you ever been to Pennsylvania? No. And anyways, so I wasn't a big fan of the Falcon, but as the series went on, I became more of a fan of the Falcon. But my biggest problem was not corrected in my mind, and that was that Bucky. Why is Bucky not Captain America? Okay, let's talk about this for another 30 minutes. Okay. I don't need to. I don't need to say anything more about that because it'll get me too off topic. But
all I'll say is that in Endgame, Bucky and Steve talked about it before Steve went back in time. So Bucky could have been part of the decision to have Sam.
Bucky decided that he couldn't be Captain America because he wasn't good enough. Right? He wasn't like good enough because he killed a bunch of people for like 40 years or whatever it was. That wasn't he was brainwashed. You know what I mean?
Imposter
How many
syndrome,
people does Iron Man kill in every single movie that he's a part of?
Imposter syndrome. I mean, when you've had that much trauma, to add one more thing of like thinking that you're not worthy, especially when you're so fucked up in the head.
Yeah, that could be it. But that all said, I loved the Falcon's story as you went through the series. It made him from the Falcon, a guy that has mechanical wings and nothing else, to like a real superhero in my mind, right?
Yeah.
Like to someone who like he's not just mechanical wings. He's like he's got everything there, like the morals, the struggles, he's got everything there. So I liked him until they gave him that dopey suit.
The
Oh
suit
my
looks a little
goodness.
plasticky, I'll
And I'm like,
admit.
okay, they're going for like the
But
real comic book look, I guess. I don't know.
I'll
But
say this: he made me realize that Cap could have been better at bringing people together. Steve
oh yeah.
Rogers, Steve
Yeah.
Rogers. Like it was surprise. It was kind of like Spider-Man: No Way Home, seeing Spider-Man want to save villains' lives. I was like,
Mm,
yeah, I've never seen Spider-Man doing
right.
that.
Right.
Why?
Right.
I mean, when it's Thanos, you don't need to have a conversation
Right. Right.
because
Right.
you know it's not going to work. But
Why you think Thanos was wrong?
yeah,
What? What?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Anyways, the after party.
Yeah, basically,
What were we talking about? Kurt Russell's balls? Is that what it was?
Wyatt wrestles. Anyway, yeah, this is very tangent heavy. Anyone who's listened to my reviews of Marvel shows with Holly is used to it. But yeah, basically this is a great 8 episode show where each episode, while characters are telling their part of the story, it's a murder mystery. It changes genres.
Yes.
So one episode could be a romantic comedy. One could be a Fast and Furious episode.
Mm-hmm.
One can. I'm literally going through them, and like one's a musical, one is a psychological thriller, one's literally just a high school party. Another one's an animated film. Another is is a smaller contained or a procedural cop show. Um,
Right. Yeah.
uh, Things like that. So if I would say try it out.
Mm-hmm.
Hell, I would say even if you don't like the first episode because of the tone, or if you don't like an episode because of the stylist going in. I remember I talked to someone when I was ride sharing, and they said they showed their girlfriend. Her girlfriend had watched a musical episode.
Mm-hmm.
The girlfriend hated it. It was like,
Uh,
oh, I don't like this kind of stuff. Um, there will be something to love.
mm-hmm.
You'll enjoy most of it unless you're really a person who can only watch one type of thing.
Yeah.
Then you'll like one episode. But I think
Yeah. And they refer to that as like the mind movie. So like each person, like that's what the
the
investigator
yeah,
describes it as. Yeah. Which I love because it's like, oh yeah, this is like literally different from every person's point of view. And the type of episode that you watch um is like that person's personality, and
yeah,
it like comes through so well, and they did such a good job of doing that, I thought. um and it also does a very good job of making you shift from episode to episode of like, oh, this person could have done it because of this person could have done it because of this person could have done it because of this. um and the whole time, each episode, it's like got a very, I would say it's almost underlying comedy through most of the episodes.
yeah.
And like it's not like outright like Vince Vaughn type of hilarious, but it's like it's funny. It's a funny show.
Oh my god, the my favorite example of that has to be in the Fast and Furious episode. I'm skip forward 10 seconds after I start this line because I don't want to ruin the punchline for you if you don't want it. But uh, the father says, "This is where you should skip." Shit, I already said that.
You just have to say it in the spoiler-filled version.
No, I'm gonna say it here. It's he says, "I'm gonna get that koala for you, and my word is my bond." And he had said it previously,
Right.
including what's about to be said. And his daughter turns around and just goes, "And that's the only thing you've got that's worth a damn." And it's so serious.
Yes.
It's like every time you roll your eyes at Vin Diesel in a Fast and
Mhm.
Furious movie, it's like,
Yeah.
that's so cheesy, but I'm here for it.
I think he even says the family line. He says something about he I know he says family. And I'm like, oh my word, this is too Fast and Furious.
Yeah.
Or yeah, too much Fast and Furious.
to save his family.
Right, right.
Yeah, honestly, I guess sorry for all the tangents, but
Oh, do we give it our rating yet?
Yeah. So we'll do a holistic rating right now, like the whole show, but then we can do more ratings per episode in the spoiler filled section. But Ryan,
Okay.
what is your rating on the dope scale?
I gave it an edible.
It
was
that's me too.
okay, nice. It was very enjoyable. It was more enjoyable than just like, oh, this is fun to watch. It was just like, I want to keep watching. Like ones that are just fun to watch are like, okay, whatever, you know. But this one kept you wanting to come back, and not just for the mystery, but for the characters as well.
Ditto.
Nice.
No, honestly, that was a great summation of it. And there's not a weak cast member in there. They do the classic murder mystery thing of giving like 17 clues in the first 3 minutes, and
Right.
you're like, what does this all mean? How is it? What's
But you don't
going
even
on?
think about it until like there's so much stuff I didn't think about until the rewatch. Or
Yeah.
is like one of those things. I did the same thing with like Knives Out, where when you rewatch, you're like, oh, okay, there and there and there and there, and yeah, makes sense.
Yeah. And most murder mystery like movies depend on a detail being introduced so early that you forget it by the 90-minute mark
Right.
or whatever. But
Mhm.
this has the benefit of being 4 fucking hours.
Right.
Or over that.
Yep.
Because there's probably let's see, I don't have the running time. I believe the first episode is like 45 minutes or something, because there's an extra 15 minutes before they get into the mind movie.
Oh, right.
And all the others are pretty close to 30 minutes a piece.
It was interesting that we could talk about that later. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, but the sign off into the spoilers will be interesting, but this show might be an edible, and then you would, I don't know if I told you about the outro.
Nope.
That you would say, or it might be and then your rating.
Oh, okay. Or it might be an edible.
And then normally the ending would be, but either way, it's dope because, and we both say movies are dope, but this is a show. So, but either way, it's dope because
shows are dope. Were we perfectly in sync there? I think we were.
We were, I think.
Did we just become best friends?
That's the only good part of that movie.
That's the only part I remember from that movie.
It's because you have a memory for good things. All right. See you in the spoiler section.
See ya.
Everybody.
See you on Monday.